Oh, hey man, how's it going? I hope you're doing well, and a happy new year to you as well. Can you let me know if you can hear everything? At work at the moment, which sucks. Yeah, my work doesn't start till 3 till the evening today, so I figured I'd just come on here and hang out with you guys. Audio sounds good, thank you, Steve. Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit scared of this year. I don't feel really sort of like prepared for it. Because I've got like nothing planned, no big New Year's resolutions and all that stuff. And I just saw a post on Instagram. You know how on Instagram these days, like the stuff that you scroll through isn't like stuff that you're actually following, it's more like suggested posts. And it was a suggested post, and it said that whoever it was who posted it was like, no New Year's resolutions this year, will be what it is. There'll be ups, there'll be downs, there'll be bleak spots, there'll be high points, there'll be, you know, it's just like keep on carrying on. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So for the lack of inspiration, I figured that I'd just come on here, hang out, speak with you guys and see what you want to see from me, see what you want to see from the channel, see me do. And I keep on having like all these ideas for like chatty videos and stuff like that. And oh man, as you can tell, like I'm just really struggling to like articulate and talk on camera. So it's really frustrating when you're trying to, you know, talk smoothly and be coherent. And you're trying to record yourself and you feel under pressure and stuff. And it's, you know, you repeating sentence after sentence after sentence, and it's, man, it really makes me sort of like nervous and stuff. So I figured the best thing to do would just be to come on here and just free flight, right? And hopefully this will just get me back into the swing of things. Have a good day, mate. Take care. I get that, man. You always sound very clear to me. Lessons have been very precise. Insecurities can sometimes be in our head a lot of the time. Yeah, 100%. That's where I'm at right now. Like, really, like, I think the best thing to do is, like, rather than try and hide it, it's just like to just like say, like, I'm feeling really insecure about this whole thing, what I do, and, you know, speaking on camera and stuff. The amount of times, you know, that I've thought, oh, I'm going to do this video chatting, and I just haven't had the stones and the stomach to do it because I can't face up to just talking to a camera. You know, it gets tricky. I was going to do a video last week. You know, I thought that'd be something cool, you know, for everybody to watch during the holiday season. I was going to do like my top 3 albums of 2022. And that didn't happen because I just didn't have the get up and go for it. And I felt kind of guilty about it. And I was just thinking, well, how the heck are you supposed to grow your channel? And how are you supposed to, you know, be a personality, because let's face it, you've got to be a personality to do this nowadays. How are you going to do that when you don't put anything up? You know, and to be honest with you, the majority of the stuff that I've wanted to do is just play and let the guitar do the talking. Because I do a lot of talking in my day job, which is a lot of you guys know is as a guitar teacher, right? So I do a hell of a lot of talking there. So sometimes the last thing that I want to do is more talking, right? But I think a lot of it is just building up in my head, 100%. And I'm glad you think the lessons are precise as well. Thank you. I really I labor over that, because I'm thinking whatever it is you put out, you know, it's that's there for life. You know, that video. So, you know, if you put up a video or a lesson video saying like full song structure, all riffs, all guitar solos, they better be right. You know, if that's what you're advertising. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to get things right, and that was sort of the thought process that was going into the lesson videos. I'd seen a lot of the songs that I've done played in a heck of a lot of different ways, and I just wanted to do them justice. I wanted to do my take on them, and yeah, and hopefully you guys would enjoy that, you know, because there's a lot of channels out there, like for instance, like Metallica, for instance, right? There's so many channels out there that do Metallica stuff, and there's so many Metallica guitar lessons, and that's just something that does not interest me in the slightest, for instance, because, you know, so many channels do Metallica lessons, and they do them well, and they teach them quite accurately. A lot of people are already clued into how those guys play these days. So the Bullet for My Valentine thing with the lessons there, that being my little niche, that's just something I was quite, I felt there was maybe a lack thereof, in-depth lessons. And some of the stuff was good, of course. I mean, I've probably learned some stuff myself from the lessons there, but I didn't see things going, or didn't see videos going as in-depth as I'd have liked them to have. So I thought, maybe there's a little gap there. But at the same time as that, how do you grow from that? Because, you know, the last thing that you want to do is become the Bullet for My Valentine guy, you know, and that's all he does. And let's face it, there's only so many Bullet songs. I've covered a lot of them, I've done lessons on a lot of them. So it's like, then what? What are you going to do when all that's run out? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out ways to just sort of not come away from it. It will always be part of what I do, but just add to it. It's a little bit like, there's lots of channels that have done this, you know, and I'm nowhere near at these other channels' level yet. But for instance, take a guy like what's his name? He's the guy who's always smiling in his thumbnails. Stay Metal Ray, is it, or something like that? He was the Slipknot guy, right? Or the Jim Root guy, should we say, right? He had all Jim Root's guitars, like I have with Matt's guitars, and you know, he did the Jim Root interview. He was fortunate enough to interview Jim, and he got a lot of his subscribers from that Jim Root interview, I think. And you could see with him, like, I don't really watch his videos a hell of a lot, but I take inspiration from people who are doing well from YouTube. So like him or not, you can always learn something, whether you dig the content or not. And you know, he's rebranded himself now. He's changed his name to his actual name. And you can tell that he's really wanting to like sort of move away from the Jim Root thing and be more of a, you know, he obviously feels like he's got a lot more to offer, you know, rather than just Slipknot covers and here's the new Jim Root guitar, signature guitar, right? And you know, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I'm thinking there is more to my guitar playing than just Bullet for My Valentine riffs. To be quite frank with you guys, when I sit down and play, I barely play Bullet my Valentine stuff. It's just something I can sort of do when I put my mind to it and I know about. And yeah, it is Stay Metal, that's right. Or it was Stay Metal. It's not. It's Xander Raymond something now. But this is what I do. You know, a lot of people have been surprised. They come onto the live stream and they're expecting to hear, you know, they're expecting to hear that, and then what's actually coming out is, you know, right. That's not right either. That's right. So yeah, just trying to think, you know, how do I grow this, you know? Not how do I come away from Bullet for my Valentine, but how do I offer stuff that's equally as interesting as my lesson videos, you know? You know, am I interested enough as a personality? You know, you see a lot of people go on, you know, and do talking videos. I mean, look at Ola England, right? Like, he's an incredible showman when it just comes to just talking and presenting and stuff like that, and it's the personality factor. He might have a week where he's absolutely shocking on guitar, doubtful, but it happens to all of us. He might have a week where he's, you know, he's not playing very well, but it doesn't matter. He's got the talk. He can just go on there and just chat, and it works, you know? And that kind of, I felt that as like kind of like a pressure, because I'm not really an eloquent person when it comes to speech, I don't think. You know, you've got to be interesting, and that's the thing. You've got to be a character almost, or not a character, but you know, if you think of Ola England, right? Think about the great guys on YouTube. Ola England, Matt the Riffmaster, right? You know, as soon as you click on a Matt the Riffmaster video, it's going to be, what is up, guys? Matt the Riffmaster here. You know, and he's got the energy and stuff like that. And, you know, you're going to laugh in that video, you know, and it's there. A lot of the times when I sign onto the camera, it's like, hey, guys, how's it going? You know, me and Matt have this running joke that's what I sound like. It's just like, oh, he just sounds so happy to be here making videos, you know? Hey, guys. So, I think there's a lot to be said for maybe transparency and me just being me rather than, you know... But that's the thing that worried me. It's just like, is me being me, like, interested enough to watch? Are people gonna just be like, okay, stop reacting to Gojira videos or whatever and just do the next Bullet video, you know, because I've had comments before saying, enough already, just do the Death by 1,000 Cuts lesson video already, and it's like, well, that takes a heck of a lot of time to do those lesson videos, and I don't feel like doing that today, you know. So, doing lessons for your own songs one day would be cool. Yeah, like what, like the Lost Cause stuff? I mean, yeah. If a Lost Cause gets, I mean, I'm not sure how many people are into that. You know, like, do people want lessons on those songs? The songs aren't too hard to play. You know, the other thing as well with me is theory and stuff like that. I kind of want to start getting to showing a little bit about like the theoretical side of things. You know, I find myself referring to things in lesson videos, and I think to myself, well, a lot of people, and I don't speak for everyone here, but I know a lot of people like myself just kind of grew up with tabs, so it's like 3rd fret on the 6th string, and then you move to the 5th fret on the, you know, on the 6th string, and then it's like, well, why? Why is it that the majority of metal songs seem to involve those frets? You know? And I'd like to maybe start to like educate people more on that sort of thing. For those who don't know about that sort of thing, I would be interested in learning about theory. It would help me improvise more and rely less on tabs. Okay, well, let's talk about that. You can have a I like talking about this a lot, actually. So, okay. So yes, improvisation. I remember when I was having lessons, watching the Metallica. So this is way back when I was like 14, 15, 16. I remember watching the Metallica behind the scenes for the Cunning Stunts 1997 Fort Worth show. Morning, Robert. How you doing, man? And I saw Kirk just sat there, just like improvising, and I was like, damn, I want to do that. I don't want to just play the songs. I want to be able to just pick up the guitar and just start to do that, right? Or what I've been doing for 18 minutes and 5 seconds now. Meandering. And so what got me going with that was scales, and people don't want to hear that. But it started with learning the modes in every key. Right? Okay, so what are the modes? Well, you've got the major scale. And then you've got 6 other scales which branch off of that scale, and each scale has a different taste and flavor. Okay? Now, the one that you guys will probably be the most acquainted with is natural minor, which is the Aeolian mode, okay? Everything that you guys listen to in the Bullet My Valentine, Metallica, you know, metalcore, whatever it is, sort of area, you know, all the that is your natural minor scale, okay? So if you were to go start learning that, for instance, that's it in its first position, right? But then you'd want to learn it in its next position, so the next octave up. So we know we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 octave, so A to A. Then you've got, so now you've got 2 octaves, right? Then what you can do is just start to use all the stuff you've learned, your hammer-ons, your pull-offs, your slides, all the things, and just start playing the notes, okay? But there's something really important which doesn't get talked about a heck of a lot. And I'm going to give you the key to this now. Man, I should have done a video on this. But this is way more fun. Learning the scales and stuff is absolutely useless if you've got no context. Okay? So it's a little bit like cooking a meal, but you've got no plates to put it on. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you're eating it out of the pot and getting messy, and you've got no knives and forks, right? So, you know, if I play this scale, it's quite meaningless. I mean, as a matter of fact, let me switch all this crap off. Okay, dry guitar tone, right? Right? I mean, that could be anything. It's just like, well, that's not music. How do we make that sound heavy? How do we make it sound sad? He said that's the minor scale. The minor scale's minor generally sounds sad, right? How do we make that sound sad? What you need is musical context, okay? How you do that is keep the first note in the scale underneath the rest of the scale, okay, as you're playing it. That's easier said than done because you need to move your fingers. So what I would heavily suggest is use a backing track, okay? So if we're in A, right, what you'd want is maybe on a looper even, you know, just fire an A or an A chord or an A minor chord or whatever into a looper and have that sustained. This is why I use a heck of a lot of reverb, because it sustains the notes, right? Keep that A going and you will find out how the rest of the notes in the scale interact with that first note, okay? So it's all about the context from the tonic or the root note, okay? So what was just... which doesn't really sound like anything much, yeah? With an A note underneath it... and now you've got music. If I was to play those notes... it's just contextless, right? So it's having that... it's having that A underneath. It's going to give each scale its context. And that's why I play with all that on. Because listen, that root note is sustained underneath my notes now, giving them context. Right? And now we have music. So what was, just to recap on that, so what was a boring scale now is because of the root note being sustained underneath. So it's all about finding out, within each mode, scale, whatever you learn, it's about finding out how the rest of the notes interact with that first note, okay? So for instance, let's take another scale now. Let's pick one. I don't know. Scale off the top of my head. Any suggestions? Anybody know their modes? A. What else is called to do an A, which is going to be quite obvious. As a matter of fact, let's do it in the key of E this time. We're going to go for Mixolydian, okay? Don't let that scare you, okay? That's just another scale. You've heard it before, yeah, or the term thrown around. And there's a part, I know when I first heard these names being thrown around and stuff, my brain would automatically just turn off. It's like, oh, well, that's a load of intellectual, music-y theory stuff that I'm never going to be able to grasp and use. Yeah, that's the important thing. Well, when the heck am I going to use that? Even if I was to dedicate the time. Hungarian minor. Good suggestion, Harry. But yeah, it's like with this, it's like how the heck am I going to use these, right? So for instance, let's take the Mixolydian scale, because I've said there's these 6 other scales or whatever they are, right? And, you know, how do I reveal the taste and flavor in that, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip it out. I'm going to get rid of all my silly effects, okay? Dry guitar tone, okay? And again, so it's like, right, you know, you've dedicated the time. I'm going to learn this Mixolydian scale, and it's going to make me sound completely different. Ready? Nothing. Absolutely contextless. Yeah, it's a little bit more jolly than the minor one, I guess, than that we did earlier, but still, absolutely contextless. Yeah, but why? Well, that's in the key of E, because my first note was an E, right? Well, the nice thing about that is we've got the 6th string available to us, which is an E as well. So that's cool. That means we can ring that out over the top of it to give the rest of the notes context. And you're going to hear how those notes interact with the first note in the scale. And that is what's going to make it pop. So let's try that now, just on a dry guitar tone. So we've got... There you go, instant context. Okay, again, sounds completely different. So if I fire up all my silly sounds and effects over the top of it. Now there's more to this that I'll touch on in a minute, but look how automatically, with that E over the top, because this is in the key of E, okay, and this is where you can put your own style and flavor onto it. Throw all your techniques in. What do you enjoy doing? Well, I like slides. Oops, hello. I like slides, hammer-ons, and pull-offs. I love legato, right? Legato is anything that is a slide, a hammer-on, or a pull-off. And that's how you make it your own. Just start doing the things that you enjoy. Okay. The other thing that you're going to want to learn about as well is it does go a little bit deeper than just learning the scale pattern. You're going to want to know about the tendency tones within the scale. Okay. So the best place to usually start before you dabble in these modes is learn your basic scales, which is like your normal minor one, your basic major scale. And by the way, if you do that, that's half the battle won, because those two are modes. So brilliant. So if there's 7 modes, only 5 more to go. Right? Now, a lot of you know those scales, or you've been playing them at some point, 100%. Especially with that minor scale, for all you metalcore, heavy metal fans and stuff like that. You know, if you think to the riffs like... It's just the minor scale jumbled up, right? It's like a musical alphabet. You're just jumbling up the letters to get words and sentences, right? Or you're jumbling up the scales to create melodies, jumble those melodies up to create songs. And what you'll find is the rest of the modes are basically based off of those 2 scales, but they're altered in some sort of way. And there's certain notes within them that get moved around, okay? So we just did the Mixolydian, so I'll show you how that works. So the Mixolydian scale is very similar to the don't listen to that. It's very similar to the major scale, okay? Watch this. Okay, E major scale. Very simple, bright and beautiful. If I alter one note in that scale, just one note, it's going to turn it into Mixolydian and make it sound completely different, okay? So here's the major scale again. Okay? And I'm going to alter the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th note. I'm going to take the 7th note in that scale back 1 fret. I'm going to flatten it, okay? So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Completely different sound now. And now you get, Gary Moore, John Petrucci. Big fan of that scale right there. So major scale, Mixolydian scale, and there you have it. So they're just variations on the basic scales that you learn. But like I said, all of this is absolutely meaningless and contextless if you don't have that underneath. Yeah? Doesn't matter about a full chord progression. Don't worry about that. Just keep the root note underneath. And what I would do myself to learn this stuff is I just go onto YouTube. I type in like a drone note. A drone note is a note that's droning on, it's sustained, yeah? And then I would play each one of the scales underneath my A note in the key of A. So if I had an A going, you know, we'll do the major scale first. Then we'll do Mixolydian, for instance. Then we'll do Lydian. Big difference there. You can see how that underneath is what's giving it the context. I'm repeating myself over and over and over here, but I can't stress how important it is. Don't just sit with a book or a load of Google images of scale patterns and play them. Yes, that's really good for your technique. If you want to shred like Ingwe and Marty Friedman and all that stuff, 100% go for gold, get the metronome on and play those scales front to back. Do it. But if you're looking to really get music out of them and you're looking to find where, you know, how you can improvise with them, you know, you really need that context underneath. So yes, you know, get your scale patterns out and stuff like that, but make sure you've got the musical context underneath. Yeah, ask yourself, right, well, this starts from the 5th fret. All these scales on my sheet. So chances are that you're in the key of A, and it probably says at the top of the sheet, A major scale. Okay, so put an A drone note on. Yeah, on YouTube, or fire an A note into a looper. Or just do what I do. This is what guided me to using a shed ton of reverb. You use all that reverb, look how my notes are still there, sustaining, right? So I can interact with that. So there's that. Musical context, number 1. It won't happen without it, okay? Number 2, you might want to think about developing a relationship with each one of the keys and scales that you learn, okay? So for instance, you know, B minor is my favorite key because it's just so deep. Okay, I absolutely love it, and you can get such now, you know, we're here because we love music, right? So my question to you would be, you know, if you had a really naff day in work and your boss was being a difficult person to deal with, you got in your car to drive home, what kind of music do you think you'd be putting on your stereo? Right? I guarantee it wouldn't be right? It would probably be like something really aggressive and angry, right? Okay, so that's one end of the spectrum. What about you went to work and your boss was great, you had a great time and you got a pay rise? Chances are something that made you feel good is something, you know, the chances are that you'd want to put that on because it resonates with you. It resonates how you're feeling. Have you ever had a song come on and you've just skipped it because it just clashes with how you're feeling? Yeah? Case in point, probably one of my favorite songs ever is Snuff by Slipknot, right? Right? But it's one of the most morose, dark songs that I can ever think of. And if it's a bright, sunny day and I'm going to hang out with my friends, that's the last song that I want to hear. Because it's really sad and it's miserable. If that song comes on, it's never a good day, right? Or if you want to listen to that song, okay? So it's all about how, the different music affects you and it affects your being and how it resonates with you, okay? And that is the same for your keys and your scales, okay? And that's what's going to guide you toward your decisions on which scales you're going to want to use where and which keys you're going to want to write in. Yeah? It's a very rainy day in North Wales today. Well, it looks rainy anyway. It's not very nice, okay? So therefore, this key of B minor works absolutely perfect with it. It resonates with it, okay? So me knowing that B minor is a very sad key has guided me toward the decision of, that resonates with how I'm feeling today. Yeah? Today, I woke up feeling really lost with this whole YouTube thing. Like, no inspiration, no New Year's resolutions. So, what's going to come out on guitar is something quite bleak, because I'm trying to find my way with it, right? And that train of thought is what's guided me in towards these very bleak, sad keys, I guess. So the scales, let's talk about them. You're going to want to develop a relationship with each one of them and understand what they do, yeah? Because they all sound different, yeah? So for instance, let's start with the obvious minor scale, okay? Very typical. It sounds sad, yeah? Yeah, that's just... There's no two ways about it, okay? Major scale, polar opposite, yin to the yang, or yang to the yin, whichever way around. Very uplifting. So there's two right off of the bat, okay? For like the baseline sort of human emotion, right? Happy and sad. There's your major scale, happy chords. Minor scale. There you go. Chords. There you go. So there's two things that hopefully you can resonate with, because they're pretty obvious in how they sound. So that's you developing a relationship with them. Yeah? Oh, I've had a really great day. So therefore, major scale works. I've had a really crap day. Minor scale works. Right? Let's talk about the other ones. So the modes coming in order. Ionian is the first one, which is major scale. We've already talked about that. How it sounds. Now I'm playing that in a really silly way, just to really get the point across, right? But it doesn't have to sound as sort of corny as that. You can use the major scale. You can use it in a little bit more of a thought out way. For instance, if I do D major, that's a little less silly. Okay, so the next one, Dorian. Okay, so the Dorian mode. My brain goes straight to the word jazz. I don't mean me. That's my name. Okay, So what does Dorian sound like? I'm going to switch all my effects off so you can just hear how bland things sound without musical context. Right? Oh no, that wasn't it. That was minor. Sorry, try it again. There you go. Again, that is really just... What the heck am I supposed to do with that? This was the problem. My guitar teacher said, learn the modes, you'll play like Kirk Hammett. You'll master music. Well... Right, this is great. Now how do I use it, right? Well, what did I say earlier? Context. That was in A. We'll do all these in A for argument's sake, okay? So 5th fret, 6th string, that's your A note. I'm going to fire an A in. And now I'm going to play with the notes in that scale at random and see how they interact. Instant, right? And you'll hear me using this one a lot. That's no coincidence if you're thinking, oh, that's just... As soon as I come onto his live stream, that's what he sounds like. Yeah, there's no coincidence. I use Dorian a hell of a lot in my playing. So does Kirk Hammett, okay? For instance. Taste and flavor. Straight away, because you've got the A context underneath. So Dorian to me is a very jazzy scale. Okay? You know, I've used it in there you go. That's just how I'm voicing it. You guys might have at it and come across something else, but I'm playing off of like cliche and type in and what genres tend to utilize these different scales. Dorian is very jazzy. If you think of Planet Caravan by Black Sabbath, very dreamy, right? So there you go. So there's your Dorian mode. And that's what I've made of it, you know? So there's that one. Okay, what's next? There is they do come in an order, by the way. So you got Ionian, Dorian. Next one, Phrygian. Okay, Machine Head, anyone? Right? Anything that you've heard that is Machine Head, you know, Megadeth, Metallica, Slipknot, these guys are all singing from the Phrygian, you know, hymn sheet. Hey everyone, we getting ethereal? Yeah, we are, man. I'm philosophical, and I'm gonna lose all my subscribers talking about music theory, because it's some people just want to see Waking the Demon, right? Sometimes all I want to do is play Waking the Demon, maybe, but not today. Okay, but that's the thing. Without knowledge of this sort of stuff, there is no Waking the Demon. There is no Machine Head. There is no Slipknot. Yeah. So Phrygian. Let's take a look. I'm going to switch all my silly effects off. Let's stick to the key of A. So here's my 5th fret, 6th string. Play the scale for you. Now that one is quite apparent straight away, and there's a reason for that, I believe anyway. You know how I said that these scales are just all altered versions of like the normal scales that we learn? The altered note in this scale is pretty much straight after the first note that I play. So if I go A for normal minor, Phrygian is, okay? Or if you want to think about it in terms of notes, normal A minor is A, B, C. This Phrygian would be A sharp, C. And you can hear it straight away. So that note comes along pretty sharpish after the first note that you play. So, you know, some of these scales, you play them on their own, and it's like, I don't know what that sounds like. How do I, you know, how am I going to relate to that? So you put your drone note, your backing note, your A note, whatever it is, on your looper pedal or on YouTube or whatever, and you can hear it pop out. With this one, you know, I would recommend the same thing, doing the same thing, 100% of course, but it is quite apparent when you play it. Okay? And that minor step is very popular in metal. Yep, you've absolutely got it. So there you go. So the machine head. Open 1, 3, right? Yeah, it's really evident, that one. Okay, so this, let's have a listen to how it sounds like with all the stuff on top. So there's my root note, there's my A. It's just so blatant, that one. It's the Phrygian is it's a very sort of bold statement when you do that one. Okay. And there you go. I mean, I really haven't got much to add to that one. You know, it is what it is. It's just so apparent. Yeah, it's pyramids and pharaohs and stuff, right? or Spain, even. You know, isn't knives in Phrygian? Yes. So anything that you've heard that does the anything that you've heard that does the 12-13 thing. It's Phrygian. Yeah. Think about knives. Yeah. Think about some of the fast riff that happens in Parasite. You know, that's all Phrygian, right? And like Bring Me the Horizon, early Bring Me. You know, they absolutely love those notes. So there you go. So that's probably a good one for you guys, you metalheads, to delve into, because it's going to give you, you know, you stick a load of distortion on top of that, it's going to be instant results. But again, you know, it's the bass line underneath, the root note underneath, it's giving it its context. So there's your Phrygian mode. Next, Lydian. Right, this is the one that I've seen guitar players, including myself, have the most problems with. This is the most problematic one. Okay, now you guys will have heard me do this thing, for those of you who've been on my live streams a lot, and you'll hear me screw up a nice chord. Watch this. That. That's Lydian. Anytime you've heard that, composers love this one, but anytime you've heard that sort of tension, yeah, you got a happy song, and then all of a sudden, that happens. The added tension, it's the Lydian mode. The Lydian mode is sort of based off of your major scale, but we're just going to be altering again one note in it. So if the major scale goes, Lydian would be this. Okay, let's play it without any silly effects on to hide behind. Let's see how it sounds. I mean, if you play that like that, who the heck is going to want to use that? Again, I'm repeating myself, contextless. Right? So, let's put some context on top of it. We'd put the A. Okay, let's get the reverb back on just to fill the sound out a little bit. So the way I like to think about this one is it's kind of like a major scale, but it's got a bit of tension in it. Okay? And again, this is all important for your developing a relationship with each one of them. Yeah? So for instance, looking back at the previous one, the Phrygian, I told you that sounds like heavy metal. Yeah? And it sounds Egyptian-y and dark, right? So if you're wanting to write something brutal and hard, now you know that, oh, well, the minor scale might be a little bit too soppy for that, you know, because it's got all like the sad sort of emotive notes in it. But the Phrygian one, yeah, that's Machine Head right there. Become the Firestorm. You know, choke on the ashes of your hate, all that sort of stuff. Yeah? Again, it's that relationship. If you build that relationship with each one, that's what's going to guide you into using it. The Lydian thing, I use it all the time now. It's something that you can get out of that that's just... It's got a sense of wonder about it. The thing is, when you stick that note in, it takes a little while to get used to. It's really, it really sticks out like a sore thumb, right? And I've found with Lydian that the best way to go about doing it is be sparing with that one. Be sparing with the note in it that does that sound, you know? So if I hit it, I'm not just going to leave it like that. I'm going to resolve back to where it came from, which is major. The tension and release is such a big part of music. 100% William, yeah. You want to know the king of Lydian, or the kings of, you got Davin Townsend, one of my favorite artists. Joe Satriani, of course. And then Steve Vai as well. They're big Lydian users. Okay, Lydian, it's got such it can have quite an uplifting sound to it. Hey, that wasn't it. Also, so as well as being uplifting, it can increase the tension as well. So yeah, that's one of my favorites right there. But it took me a while to learn how to use that one. I don't want to blow you guys' heads off or anything. Some of you guys probably know this stuff, but I'm guessing some of you guys don't, which is why you're still here. That Lydian sound is why you love Bullet for My Valentine. Because the way that note interacts, if I play the scale, now I go, which is very metalcore, Bullet My Valentine, right? But for that moment that you go down to that bottom one, listen to the tension. And then it releases. That's why you love it. Because it's got that Lydian sort of tension. And then it releases. So, there's that. Okay, so we're done with Lydian. It's got the ethereal sound. If I'm feeling ethereal, if I'm feeling, what is it, dreamy or whatever, yeah, it's just another paint in my collection of paints or crayons or whatever that you can use to make music with. So what's next? Lydian, Mixolydian, we've already talked about it. Mixolydian has that folky kind of sound going on with it. We talked about that one earlier. So what we got? Where have you heard this before? Like things like Led Zeppelin, White Stripes kind of use it. You know, it's got kind of like a folky thing going on with it. Okay, so. So, it's got a little bit more of a party thing going on with it, I guess you could say. So if we play the chords. But it can also have quite like a relaxing thing going on with it if I use it in this sort of a context. Get my guitar in tune. So many times on a Friday night when I finish work and I crack a beer open or whatever and I just want to chill with some reverby guitar, that's a mode that I will go for because it's quite relaxing. And if you think about composers in films and stuff where they're given a scene, this is what they have to tap into. It's like if the director goes, well, this is a really sad scene where everything goes to pot. Right, so they're going to think, well, what are the saddest, chords and modes that I can think of, saddest scales? Well, obviously you've got the traditional minor scale, which we talked about, your Aeolian mode. Yeah, you got the Phrygian if it's dark. Yeah, or if something's like a little bit more of like an uplifting scene, you've got your Mixolydian. So they're just tapping into what these things sound like in order to, bring out the scene in a film. And you can do that with your songs and your riff writing. Yeah, you can use these scales and these chords and these modes and stuff to really sort of accentuate how you're feeling and how you want your song or riff or whatever it is to come out with guitar solo. Okay, so there's your Mixolydian. So it's kind of, you know, it's got a happy thing going on with it, but it can also be quite... There you go, that's right. It can also be quite, I don't know, quite moving, quite emotional, quite, but that's just how I'm playing it. That's how I'm voicing it. That's what it sounds like with this reverb and this particular guitar. You guys could play it. It would maybe sound a little bit different. Yeah. What's next? Aeolian. Well, we've already talked about that one. That's one of your bassline scales that you should know. That's your minor scale right there. Okay. There's nothing, you know, that you don't know about this one. If you guys are all the metalcore and heavy metal fans, you know, anything that sounds... Anything that sounds like that. Not that, though. That was wrong. Yeah, this is the music that we love and listen to. It's just riddled with this scale. Okay, it's just... The ear is accustomed to hearing that because we've listened to so much of this scale. A lot of music tends to lean toward this scale. Yeah, what I'm playing right now is not a surprise to you guys. Your ear is tuned to hearing this. Yeah. Because you've heard this scale so much. So not really a whole lot to say about that one because 99% of the music we as guys listen to is composed of that scale. Okay, including the Crazy Train thing that Logan's... I'll talk about Crazy Train in a bit. Last one, Locrian. Oh man. Not really a whole lot to say on this one. It's just spooky and horrible. I don't use it particularly, but a lot of metal kind of uses it. What does it sound like? Turn all the stuff off. On its own. It just sounds, you know, what's the expression, atonal? It just sounds horrible. If I put the reverb on. Sorry. You know, and you can get all your... You can get all that stuff out of it. It's very, very similar to the Phrygian mode, but it's got a couple more notes sort of out of place on it. I don't particularly use it a whole lot, but you can really get some spooky sort of, you know, stuff out of it. And that's it. So there are your modes. Each one has got a different taste and flavor. And that's what you want to do. Get acquainted with each one. Learn about how the notes in the scales interact with that first note. Yeah. Have that note, that first note playing on some sort of backing track or looper or something like that. Yeah, have that playing. And it's going to give everything its context. Then what you can start to do as well is when you start to, you know, learn them front to back, then you can start to put little hammer-ons and pull-offs in there. Yeah, and then you can start to make them your own a little bit and start putting little slides in there. And then what they'll become is, like I said earlier, is they'll become like paints. You know, it's like, well, the sky is blue. I want to paint the sky, so I'm going to use my blue paint to depict that. But like, what if it's like, well, you know, something horrible has happened and the sky's all red, so I'm gonna give the painting a little bit of a darker feel. So I'm gonna paint the sky red. So I'd use my red and blend that in. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. It's like, here's a sad song. But the thing is, it's not just sad. It's dark. Yeah, there's skulls, bats, and zombies. So Phrygian's going to be the one to do it for me. Yeah, paint the sky red. That's what's going to completely change the taste and flavor. So there's my little summary on how to improvise. Learn your scales, learn your modes, learn what each one sounds like. Take it in, and then from there, you know, just start learning it in different octaves across the neck. Each one is only 7 notes. Okay, so you've got 7 notes. Those notes will appear right the way across the fretboard. Like I said earlier, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then so on from there, right? That's all that's happening. You're just playing the same notes across the fretboard. And what'll happen then is you'll find that rather than when you pick up the guitar, you'll find rather than just playing, you know, a riff that you've been playing for the last, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, however long you've been playing, you know, you'll find that you'll start going toward your own expression a little bit more, which I think is more important. You know, yes, I'll teach people the songs and stuff like that, but in my guitar lessons, my private lessons, I really, for those who want it anyway, I really try and push for people to become, you know, their own guitar players. It's like, well, don't come out of this playing like me, yeah, or whoever it is you like. Try and, yeah, take influence and stuff like that, 100%. But try and craft your own thing, which is why the modes interested me so much, because, you know, I get sick of Take care, Felix, man. Hope you have a good day. Yeah, I get sick of that. I want to sound a little bit more sort of oceany, you know, so. There it is. That's my idea of what like ocean sort of sounds like, right? And the modes were the key to unlocking that. So there you go. Thanks for the advice. Very insightful, interesting way of approaching making music and out of scales. 100%. All music comes from the scales. Is the verse to Crazy Train alternate? Yes, it is. Do you want some delay on that? Jeez. And that's that. It's just alternate. I keep hitting my my transposer, which is why I keep going up and down. But yeah, that's alternate pick. Something like that. So there you go. anybody can name that, you get full marks. Don't know why that one goes from there. That is a nightmare of a riff. What else is that? Ooh, yikes. And again. Yikes. Matty Mello is saying, killing it. Just as I screw everything up. Good morning, Matty. I hope you're doing well. Suggestions, anyone? I'm running out of riffs. Preferably something I can play. Those pickups sound very nice, especially on the cleans. Yeah, best. This is the best clean sounding guitar I've ever owned. As far as distorted tones, it does this quite well, but I wouldn't I wouldn't use this guitar for like all these pickups, even for like drop tuning and stuff like that. Yeah, but to be honest with you, when I play this guitar, I predominantly find myself doing all the that sort of stuff. Guys, I really need to pee real quick. So, I'm going to be back in 1 second. Just hold on 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. Right. Any suggestions before we wrap up today? Anybody want to know about anything? I'm in no rush to go, by the way. I'll hang out for as long as people want to hang out. But anything you guys want to know about, see me play, break down, let me know. I have a Schecter that's kind of similar. I usually made it for cleans. It's so bright and airy. I find that's why I don't like using it on drop tuning. Yeah, this guitar is a bit of a weird one. It's like I said, it really shines on the clean side of it. But if you think about, James Hetfield's, is sort of clean tone. It'll splice through you like a knife. So these pickups and guitars are obviously designed to be able to do both, right? But I just found that the idea of these pickups is more so like have them do the work when it comes to distortion, so dial the gain back on the amp and have the pickups in the right hand just like pushing all the attack, which is cool and stuff. But for me, this guitar just it sounds okay doing like the tuned up stuff. Absolutely, aggressive stuff, but for like low tunings and stuff, I just can't be my 81s, 85s, and then the pickups in the Lee Malia guitar, I absolutely love those passive Gibson pickups. They're pretty cool as well. Is there a meaning behind your channel name? Can't go giving everything away, can I? What do you guys think it means? Yes, I recently started using the 8160 set. I really like them, wasn't sure if I would. One day, I love I'll always use the 81. One day I would like to try 60, but I believe this thing in the front's supposed to be close to a 60, right? I don't know. I would like to try a 60 at some point. But I may, excuse me, I may or may not be having a custom guitar in the works. And I kind of really want to be brave and put a 60 in the front. But the 85, I've just sworn by it for years and it works. Why would I change that, But I really do want to try the 60. Never tried one, I don't think. 60 sounds very bright and airy on cleans, a lot quieter than the 81. Oh, okay. Very nice lead work. Yeah, I believe so. I'd be interested to see, just how similar it is to the equivalent on the headset. Yeah, I find these sound very. The headset sounds very like sort of like tinny. That's the only way I can sort of describe it. But you know, I found with my heavy tones, I have to really sort of dial the game back in order to get them to work. Otherwise, it just turns into like a swarm of bees. Oops. I have to get rolling, brother. I hope you have a great evening. I'll catch you again soon. Everyone else have a great day. Have a great excuse me. Yeah, I hope you have a great evening as well, Robert. Thank you for joining in. Take care of yourself. Be well, and thank you for hanging out. I'm with you though, man. I love the 81. Kind of prefer the passive pickups for cleans, but the 81 crushes it all day for metal. Yeah, 100%. Everything I've done, for the most part, with like the drop tune stuff, it's always been the 81. Something like that. Wow, a lot of those death magnetic riffs are so hard to pull off. The part I can never remember. Sloppy. That's right, the lightning. That's some very impressive down picking. Thank you. Um, I have a little bit of carpal tunnel, so sometimes when I have to use alternate picking when I prefer to down pick. Ah, okay. Excuse me, but that is like the biggest fear of mine, and I'm constantly like doing like stretches and stuff like that. Chances are, something like that will catch up with me because I play 12 hours a day, in one way or another. Uh, Carlos from Colombia. Hey man, I hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining in. My back is ruined. I'm currently sat in quite a lot of pain right now. Like my back is destroyed from sitting down, and like I'm playing guitar for like hours on end. A lot of that is in bad posture. Um, or rather, is my bad posture. And playing guitar like this doesn't help. Like I find so much better with my V's because I've got room for my arm to breathe and move. But this guitar, it's just it's just too big to sit with like that. So. Hit the lights or Lux Eterna, you decide. Play song trivia. Trivium. I don't know any Trivium because I don't particularly like Trivium. I know one thing. Is that right? Something like that. I heard a Trivium song I liked the other day, and I can't remember the title of it. I'll try and remember for you because I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's always best to take a break when you need to. I have no clue if I got it from guitar playing. I'm also an artist, and I think had something to do. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that's like repetitive, is like I used to have a horrible job in a factory building brake pipes for Volvo, the trucks, and it was a nightmare. It was 12 hours a day, 12-hour shifts back to back, and you were put in like these tubes. I think I've got kept one as a souvenir as a reminder for myself. These, right? But they were a lot thicker than this. This was a small one, but like they were really, really thick. You had to like force these into like metal formers and then send them down a bread oven, which sets them. And all day it was just pushing, and like the cramp and stuff like that I got coming up here, and probably the muscle that I built in here was like absolutely insane. But you will get repetitive strain injury from doing a horrible job like that, And it's not too dissimilar with guitar, If I'm constantly like. When I stand up, this shoulder is higher than this one. So when I'm stood, I'm kind of like that. Just from sitting with a guitar like this all day, That's a really cool riff. Thank you. That's that's this. Hold on. That is that. Knock Yourself Out. That's my my band's first single. Has that turned up in the chat? I just put a link. That's my band's first single, White Lies. So knock yourself out with that one. Congratulations on the live. I hope the channel continues to grow this 2023. Yes. Thank you so much, Carlos. I appreciate it. I hope it continues to grow. So I guess what would make that happen is just please continue to like the stuff, comment, all that sort of stuff, commenting, liking the video, sharing, giving me suggestions and stuff. It really gives me the motivation to continue to do this. So thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a while since I jammed that one. Thought I recognized it. Yes. Sounds like a completely different song. Tuned up though, I guess. Well, I suppose I could. 12 octave chords. Me too. I remember being surprised. This is Matty. I remember being surprised by how good your screaming sounds. I'm watching one of your reels. Is that something you practice regularly, or do you develop the ability to do it just by singing along to bands you enjoy? Number one, thank you. I think I've got a way to go with my my screaming, singing, yelling. Okay, so when I was younger, when Asking Alexandria entered my life, um, I just wanted to be Danny Wasnop. I just wanted to sing like him, and I would just I would just try and scream along to like Stand Up and Scream and Reckless and Relentless and Death to Destiny and all that sort of stuff. And then I blew my voice several times. I think, or rather, I've been told I used to be able to sing. I didn't say I've got a great singing voice or anything like that. I just like been told that, oh, I've got a nice little singing voice. Okay, but I blew that away just by yelling and screaming and stuff like that. And then I blew my voice out. I never did it seriously. I just did it like you asked there, like just by doing it along to bands I enjoy. Pretty much did that. I would just start, screaming to whatever was on in the car. It must have looked funny to people coming, in the opposite direction. But I used to scream along to like Iowa stuff, Slipknot, which is my favorite heavy metal record ever, or one of. And then the big one was Danny Wasnop's voice on Death to Destiny, just the huskiness and I never got close to it. And I just kind of, I just gave up. I realized that, well, I'm not very good at, the thought process was, well, I'm not really good at playing and singing at the same time, and let alone playing and screaming at the same time. So I just kind of gave up. And I never set time aside to practice it like I would with guitar or anything. I just kind of gave up on it. And then when I joined A Lost Cause, Sam was kind of like, my singer, he was like, well, I want you to do backing. So it's like, okay, let's see if I can still do it. And I just kind of, I don't know. I just started doing it again. I can't explain it. It's one of those things that I don't think about, which I probably should think about. And there's the thing where you always sound better in the car for whatever reason it is than you do in real life. The trick to screaming I found for myself, my personal thing that I do, is let the microphone do the work. Don't play your music loud in your car and try and scream over the top of it and be louder than it, or in your house or whatever, Use a microphone and let the mic, and so you can hear yourself, and let that sort of govern your technique, rather than just going into a microphone or just not even to a microphone and just hoping it works. It's a lot like guitar. You get better at guitar by hearing yourself back, recording yourself, I believe anyway. That worked for me. So, hearing myself through the PA when I do my little backing screams and stuff like that, that helped. Warming up as well. One thing I haven't told you is, I don't know if you guys know Melissa Cross. She's the one who saved many heavy metal vocalists' careers. Randy Blythe, Lamb of God, Phil from All That Remains, Matt Tuck, when he blew his voice out. I got hold of her when I was younger, her instructional DVD, The Zen of Screaming it was called. And there's a load of silly exercises and stuff like that you can do. And when I'm going down in the car to band rehearsal, I'll do those in the car on my way down and make all these silly sounds and that I hate doing. I absolutely hate doing it. And the worst thing is you've got to bring yourself to do it before going on stage when you play live. Now, a band at this level, it's not like where we're in a dressing room beforehand and, you can take yourself to one side and do it. You're literally stood doing it to the side in the audience. Like Sam, my singer, he'll warm up. He'll do like scales and stuff like that, but he's literally doing it either where all the gear's stored or he's just stood doing it in the corner of the room. And something you got to do if you want to preserve your voice. And I enjoy doing it. I love it. There's nothing more, for me personally, there's nothing more liberating than playing a guitar that you really like and just screaming into a microphone. I can't explain it. All that pent up angst and stuff like that you get, there's nothing like it. So I guess that's where it comes from. But I do some warm ups from the Melissa Cross DVD, Zen of Screaming. But yeah, other than that, it was just me trial and error, and when I'd be in the house on my own growing up when I was younger, I'd just put on stand up and scream, "Oh my God," all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty much where that comes from. It's my wireless died. Man, that is so bad. My wireless has died. One sec. These are not lasting like they should. So I've had 1 hour and 51 minutes out of them. Okay, that's fair enough. There you go. Now we have sound. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. But warming up, it is important. Sometimes I don't do it, and I think, oh, I'll be all right. And I'm not. It's a classic case of, oh, I'll just be fine. I'll just go for it, and within a song. Fortunately, I'm lucky because I'm not doing it a lot of the time, so can get away with it a little bit. But by the end of the set, with all my backing vocals done, I'll have a sore throat afterwards. Sam, on the other hand, won't. But so my singer, he is of the completely opposite school of things. Like, he is loud, like really loud, the way he screams, like really loud. I use the microphone to manipulate the microphone a little bit and let that do the work. But Sam is like, bah! He's like really, really loud. So you just got to find what you do and then stick to it, Oh, and the other thing as well is, not my biggest mistake was trying to replicate Danny Worsnop and Corey Taylor and stuff like that. It's like, it's never going to happen because, I don't sound like those guys. So you can try and edge away that way, but at the end of the day, you're always going to sound like you, and that's one of the things I learned as well. Gosh, been a long time since I've listened to that band. Yeah, warm-ups are essential. I used to scream pretty well, but I kind of lost the time and patience rather than not blow my voice out, so I stopped for now. Yeah, that was it for me. I just kind of gave up and I thought, well, if you're going to be good at... final episode, right? I thought, I'm going to be good at something. I dedicate my time to guitar, which I know I've already got the aptitude for. Singing, I do not. And screaming, I didn't think I had either. So I kind of just don't overthink that one and just do it. But yeah, I would like to practice more, maybe, but I kind of freak out a little bit and I kind of get self-conscious even if I am on my own. It's quite weird. Right. I've been doing this for 2 hours now. And speaking of which, I'm starting to lose my voice, believe it or not. So, I'm going to cut the stream here. Thank you to everybody who's hung out today. I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you for your questions, participation. Let me know on one of my community posts or something like that what videos you want to see this year. You know, rack them all up. I'll take a look. Because right now I'm a little bit out of inspiration, you know. So let me know what you guys want to see. I know people like the lesson videos. I'm fully aware of it. And now people go, well, you've done those. Why don't you just do that? Well, I'm not always in the mood for teaching. So yeah, those lesson videos can take like a week to make. So what short videos do you want to see? You know, like normal ones or covers or whatever. Go and let me know. But thank you guys so much. You've made me feel good about myself today, a lot better than I was when I first came on. Yeah, I really appreciate your support. And yeah, I will see you guys soon in the next video. Take care, guys. Peace.